Stepping back in time, imagine a time long, long ago, a period we now call the Viking Age. This exciting era started around the year 800 and lasted for nearly 300 years until about 1050. The people at the heart of this story are the Vikings. They came from the cold, northern lands of Scandinavia, Denmark, Norway, Sweden. These were hardy people, accustomed to rugged coastlines, deep forests, and long, dark winters. They were farmers, fishers, and skilled craftspeople who developed a unique and fascinating culture that would soon make its mark across the globe. It's a period that feels both mysterious and thrilling, doesn't it? When we hear the word Viking, a very specific image often pops into our heads. Fierce warriors with long beards, wearing horned helmets and carrying big axes. This picture, often shown in movies and books, comes from stories of their sudden raids, especially the shocking attack on Lindisfarne in 793. This event is often seen as the dramatic start of the Viking Age, painting a picture of fearsome fighters. But this is only one small part of their much bigger, more complex story. The truth is, the horned helmets are a bit of a myth. Historians and archaeologists have found no evidence that Vikings ever wore them in battle. The idea likely came later from 19th century operas that wanted dramatic, wild characters. Real Viking helmets were simpler, iron or leather, rounded to protect the head, no horns. While the stories of Viking raids are certainly dramatic, they don't tell the whole tale. For every Viking who went a Viking, many more stayed at home or traveled for entirely different reasons. A great number of them were peaceful traders. They loaded their sturdy ships not with weapons but with valuable goods from their homeland. They carried things like soft furs from Arctic animals, strong timber from their vast forests, precious walrus ivory. They sailed to bustling market towns to trade for things they couldn't get at home, such as silver-fine silks, glass beads, exotic spices from distant lands. These Vikings established incredible trade networks that stretched across the known world. Imagine them navigating the river systems of Russia, Gardariki. They traveled down to Constantinople, Miklagard, the great city. There they traded with merchants from the Middle East and Asia. Some even served as elite bodyguards for the Byzantine emperor, the Varangian Guard. They were connected to the great powers of their time through commerce and service. Back in Scandinavia, most Vikings were farmers. Life was tied to the land and the seasons. Farmsteads and longhouses housed extended families. They grew crops, barley, oats, rye. They raised animals, cattle, sheep, goats, pigs. The sea provided food. Fishing was essential. This connection to the land drove them to seek new fertile lands. Let's step inside a Viking longhouse. Long, rectangular buildings, often timber, wattle and daub walls with clay and thatch or turf on the roof. Inside it was often dark and smoky. A long hearth burned down the center, no chimney, just a hole in the roof. Raised sleeping platforms lined the walls, covered with furs. Communal space. Parents, children, grandparents. They ate together, slept together, worked together. Viking society had clear roles, but women had more rights than in many parts of Europe. Men farming, hunting, fishing, trading voyages, raiding expeditions, and defending family honor and property. Women ran the household, managed the farm, prepared food, spun wool, wove cloth, cared for children and the elderly. Keys at the waist signaled control over wealth and stores. Children didn't go to school. They learned by helping. Boys farmed, sailed, used tools and weapons. Girls cooked, spun, wove, managed a household. Toys were wooden animals, toy boats and balls. Teenagers were considered adults to run a farm, join a trading voyage, or marry and start a family. Craftsmanship was prized. Woodworkers carved ships, houses, spoons, chests. Smiths forged tools, sharps, swords, delicate jewelry. Women wove durable cloth, silver arm rings, ornate brooches, amber and glass necklaces. Art in daily life. The Vikings were perhaps the greatest sailors of their age, their world a web of sea lanes and river routes. To the east, they crossed the Baltic, navigated the great rivers to the Black Sea and the Caspian, trading with Byzantium and the Arab world, exchanging ideas as well as goods. To the west, they raided and settled the Danelaw in England, place names like Grimsby and those ending in Thorpe, Orkney, Shetland, Dublin, coasts of France, Spain and Italy. longships appearing as if from nowhere. They discovered Iceland, settled it, then Eric the Red sailed to Greenland and founded colonies that endured in the Arctic. Proof of bold navigation and resilience. Around the year 1000, Leif Erikson reached North America and Vinland, with wild grapes and a small settlement at Leonce Oak Meadows, centuries before Columbus. Their explorations redrew the map and connected continents. In English we keep words like sky, egg, knife, window, leg, and legacies of assemblies, laws and trade. Their sagas, gods, bravery and thirst for adventure still inspire.